Welcome to Yellow Table Talk. We are a new show to your channel with Raleigh Community TV, and we are thrilled to be here. I'm so excited. Let me tell you a little bit about Yellow Table Talk before we get started. Yellow Table Talk is an idea or vision that God gave me when I was going through depression and anxiety. And I began to meet others who were struggling with the exact same thing I was struggling with, other believers. And at the beginning, I thought, this is great because I'm not alone, because I did feel alone. But then I began to wonder, this should not be. It should not be so many of us dealing and battling with depression and anxiety. So I prayed about it. And this is the vision. This is the idea that God gave me, to have a talk show, to talk about mental health from a Christian and biblical perspective. But not only just mental health, to talk about all the issues that we face as believers, male and female. So I have with me some amazing ladies that I want to introduce you to. They are the co-hosts of Yellow Table Talk. And so I'm going to start to my left.
Hi, Sheree. Hi, it's Keisha here.
And I'm Giovanna. Hi.
And so we are so thrilled to be your new show on Raleigh Community TV. Yes. So today's segment is going to be great. The topic for today's segment, ladies, is living single and saved.
Yes.
Woo! Yes. Single and saved. And so to start off this show, I have a game that we're going to play. Now, I have to give credit where credit is due. I saw this game on YouTube. I can't really say the name who, because, Raleigh Community TV, we can't do no advertising. So, but anyway, if my paths should ever cross with this wonderful young lady who actually did the same show, different questions, but same game concept, okay? I would give credit to her. This is awesome. We're going to have fun.
Yes.
So get ready. You can answer us from your TV. It's going to be good. We have some good questions. So I'm going to tell you how we're going to play this game. It is called Run or Stay. Okay? So again, living single and saved. I'm going to present some scenarios, and you are going to tell me, the ladies here are going to hold up their board, and you can also, right there from your home, you're going to say, we're going to stay, try to see how this goes, right? Or we're going to run. And we're not looking back. We're running. Okay, so here is the first scenario. Are you ready?
We're ready.
You ready, ladies?
Yes.
Okay, so it is the first date. Without talking to you, he arrives with his 3 children.
Oh, 3.
3.
We all run out.
We're all running on this one. Okay, so the key for me was that he didn't talk to me about it.
Yes.
So that's key. I'm not against men being, single fathers and raising their children. I'm not against that.
Right.
I don't have any problems with that. But when you show up with your children,
3.
Without communicating.
not 2, not 2,
3.
but 3. Not 1.
I think an appointment that I forgot about. I have to get
You got to go.
Yeah. We have to reschedule this.
We got to go. We're running. So fellas, we are not knocking you for being awesome single fathers, but heads up. Help a sister out.
Communicate.
Yes. Communicate. Let us know what's going on. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
It was a good one. Okay. All right. This one might be a little funny. Okay. But let's be honest, okay? Now we're humans just like you. Just because we're Christians don't mean
That part.
we're not human. Okay? We're human just like you. Okay, here we go. While eating dinner, your date's teeth fall out of his mouth onto the plate.
Bless his heart.
I don't think I'd get up and leave him. I'm not. I can't just get up from the table.
Okay. Okay, you can't get up from the table.
I just can't get up from the table.
You can't run.
No,
I
I can't run.
run.
So I'm going to stay a little bit.
But you're going to run later?
No.
Run later? What you going to do, Sheree?
I'm running.
You
You're
running?
going to run.
I'm running.
You run?
I'll explain later, but I'm running.
Okay, Giovanna.
I'm gonna stay.
You gonna stay?
I'm gonna stay and refer.
Are you gonna stay and run later, or are you gonna stay and see how it goes?
I'm a librarian. I like to give help.
You gonna refer?
You stay to a good dentist.
This
A good dentist near you.
She's gonna stay, but she's gonna help you out. Okay, I said stay. I'm gonna stay and see how this goes.
Does he put his teeth back in?
Because yes, I'm gonna say, you know, okay, I'm gonna wait for him to get himself together,
Right.
and I'm just gonna say, you know what, it's okay, and I'm gonna ask more questions. So,
We're staying.
are we gonna work on that? But he may be an awesome guy, y'all.
That's right.
He may be an awesome guy.
Could be.
You don't really know why his teeth fell out his mouth.
True.
He may be an awesome guy. I'm
can't
going
wait
to
to get
stay and
a
see how this goes. Okay, so why are you running, Cherie?
It has happened to me.
I'm running.
I say because I roll with him. But I'm running because I'm driving that.
She learned.
She learned from experience.
I did not know.
So fellas, keep your dental appointment.
Dental plan.
Okay.
Man with a dental plan.
I did not know she experienced it. But I would stay. I'll see how this goes. He could be a really good guy. He may be the one that God sends. You never know.
Very true.
The Lord can heal.
He can.
He can restore.
He can restore.
Yeah.
Okay.
With a great set of teeth.
Okay. All right. So what did y'all say? You gonna run or you gonna stay? I wish I knew. I wish I could see. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. On the date, he tells you that his ideal wife is a stay-at-home mom, and he feels that she should not work but tend to the house. He is more than willing to be the breadwinner and provide whatever the family needs.
Are we supposed to show a card?
Yes.
Really, Giovanna?
For real?
You can work at home.
You can, I didn't think about that. But you
We
ain't
got 30 seconds, and I'm saying, I'm running.
I'm running.
I'm running.
I gotta have my independence.
My own
I can
money.
have
I gotta have my
independence by
own.
working at home.
I didn't think about it.
But he's
that
controlling
way.
all your money, Giovanna.
He's not
She said
controlling all the money.
So are you saying work at home as in being a stay-at-home mom, or are you saying work at home like work
Have
from
your own
home?
business.
I can actually work from home and be a mom.
Okay.
Okay, all
But
right.
was that what the
Okay.
question said?
Right.
The question didn't say he was controlling.
Okay. Well, look, the discussion is getting good.
yes.
So stay tuned. We have more for you. We're gonna have our guest mentor here with us, Keisha Thompson, Pastor Keisha Thompson. I am so excited. All right, stay tuned. Hello, I'm Dr. Alicia Marcina, and welcome to Yellow Table Talks Reflection Section. Our topic today is single and saved. And what exactly does that mean with regard to taking care of yourself? Admittedly, in the kingdom, it can be difficult to be saved because most of the time we're pushed toward marriage. That seems to be our ultimate goal. So what do you do in the meantime? Well, first of all, you can practice gratitude. Be thankful for everything that you're experiencing right now, big and small. Secondly, cultivate some really wholesome friendships. Oftentimes, we miss opportunities because we get involved with people who are shallow. Get some good, deep relationships with friends, whether it's going to a movie, a good meal, or just a good cry. Next, be kind to yourself. Whatever it is that you would want to do on a date, do it for yourself. Wherever it is you would want him to take you, take yourself. Wherever it is you'd like to take her, take yourself. And just enjoy the experience. Welcome back. I hope you really enjoyed that game that we played, Run or Stay. So we have right in this segment, we have Pastor Keisha Thompson joining us as our guest mentor for us to continue the conversation of living single and saved. And so, Pastor Keisha Thompson, can you just tell us a little bit about you?
Hi, I am the pastor of Social Life Ministries. I've been pastoring now for 4 years. I'm also a social worker, a mother, a wife, but I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for
thank you.
inviting me.
Thank you. And of course, you've already met our awesome co-host, Cherie. And so we're going to be interviewing Pastor Thompson. But we're going to start with a leading question. So again, our topics, again, it's living single and saved. So here is our leading question for our guest mentor. Is it wrong for me to take initiative with a man to pursue a relationship? Does that mean I'm not trusting God's sovereignty? And what about online dating? So is it wrong? You know, us ladies, we can have a very strong personality, you know. We don't mind initiating, right? If we see a gentleman that we're interested in, should we pursue him, or should we sit back and wait for that man to come find us? What are your thoughts?
I say sit back and wait for the man to find you.
Okay.
The Bible is very clear. Proverbs 18:22 says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor with the Lord. I think that sometimes as single women, we rush things and we get ourselves into our permissive will instead of God's perfect will, because we see something and we want it, and we think because of our personalities we want to go after it. But God says men are hunters. Let them hunt you. Let them find you.
Okay, Pastor Keisha.
Yes.
Yes. I said we are single.
Yes.
And we're saved.
Yes.
Now I know men are hunters.
Uh-huh.
But how do we position ourselves to be hunted?
Well, the first thing I would say, our first position is with God. Like, you have to have yourself in a space with the Lord to where you're single, but you're not desperate.
That's right.
You're not desperate.
I get it.
And when you have your mind focused on God, and I know you say, well, this is easier said than done, but I've been single before. It's been a while, but I've been single before. But if you have your mind set on God and the things of God and pleasing Him, He said He'll add everything else. He'll align everything else in His order. But you just have to be patient and wait for God's doing. His timing is perfect.
It is.
So we should not be concerned. Like, we should not, that should not be on our thoughts all the time. It's just wanting to get married, wanting to date, wanting to have that relationship. You're saying that our focus really should be on God.
Yes. Because it's natural. God wants us to have fellowship. Yes. He wants us to be around others. He wants us to show love to other people. But He also wants us to show a love for Him first. And I think that's where, as women, we get it wrong, because we watch other people and we think, well, they've been married. I want to be married. I want to have kids. Because from the very beginning, when we're little girls, we're placed with a baby in our arms. We have dolls. We're taught how to mother and how to nurture. We're given the little play kitchen sets. And, so we're thinking in our heads that that's all it is. We're mothers. We're supposed to be wives. And it's supposed to happen at a certain time. But we have to recognize that our timing is not God's timing. That's Kairos and Chronos. God's timing is perfect. It's not measured by our minutes or by our days. It's measured by His moments. That's the Kairos. It's God's moments and His timing. So we don't rush things, because God might be still working some things out in us and through us and preparing us, and also preparing that mate for us.
Yes, I was going to say.
So if we rush things, then we end up getting ourselves into our permissive will. And God will allow us to get in our permissive will, but we don't want that. We want His perfect will. So it's all right to desire to date. It's all right to desire fellowship with a mate. Because He created us for that. But He wants us to desire Him above everything first, and then wait for Him to align it. God is a God of order. Perfect order.
I love it. So with that being said, online dating.
So online dating.
I want to hear your response.
Yes, can a male, search for his wife online?
But if you're putting yourself out there Yeah. Are you putting yourself out there? Is that you really searching for someone to find you? Mm-hmm. Is it still getting out of God's order?
Okay.
Because I understand technology, but I'm still old-fashioned when it comes to letting that man seek you out. And then when you have social media, you can be anybody. You know, that man can be, you know, he can tell you, I'm dark chocolate, 6'5". Yes. But then when you meet him, he might be stubby, you know, light skin, and 289. You can't really discern from online. You know, you have to allow somebody to meet you. You need to use that spiritual discernment. Yes. And that's going to be God telling you, no, beep, 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 beep. But it's easy to write stuff on paper. It's easy to be someone else, you know, on the computer. It's easy to post Beyonce's picture instead of yours. You know, it's easy to be a whole nother persona. On online dating. So I'm old fashioned. I'm sorry. I still say if it's meant to be, no matter where you are, God will make it happen. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. My husband flagged me down on the road. Crazy.
So you're actually saying it can be, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to portray ourselves a different way. We don't have to dress a different way. We don't have to try to imitate or be something or someone else for our mate.
Absolutely.
To find us.
Absolutely. Okay. And don't put that out there being someone else because you can only be somebody else for so long. Eventually, the true you is going to come out. Eventually, you know, you look, not to say you don't look nice, but, you know, once you get the mate, you're not going to always have on a face full of MAC. You're not going to always look a certain way. So this is who I am. And if it's the one that God has chosen for you, he'll love you. Regardless. He'll love you without the makeup. He'll love those little rolls, all those dimples, you know, some things that we as women get over the years. He'll love all of that.
All right. Yes. This has been awesome. I hope you all have enjoyed this, and I hope you've learned a lot from that question. As a single, saved woman, should we pursue our mate? Should we online date? So I have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with Pastor Keisha Thompson.
Do things that you enjoy just because you enjoy them. Don't worry about what the end game is going to be. Don't always go to an event looking for a mate. Just go because you want to go. Face the uncomfortable. Challenge yourself. Go bungee jumping, water skiing, rock climbing, whatever it is that you think you want to try, get outside your comfort zone and try it. Finally, revel in the singleness. Singleness equals freedom. You have no one to check in with, no schedules you have to manage, and you can just be footloose and fancy free. Philippians 4 tells us to find ourselves content no matter what situation we're in. So while you're single, enjoy every single minute of your single life.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited. My name is Ashley, and I have some wonderful ladies here with me, Pastor Keisha and Sister Giovanna. This section of Yellow Table Talk, we're going to be talking about self-awareness and loneliness. You all ready to dive into this question that I have for you?
I'm ready. Let's go.
I wanted to see, what advice would you give someone that's single and they're waiting on their spouse and they're just trying to make sure that they're combating those feelings of feeling lonely, those feelings of feeling depressed? What advice would you give someone while they're waiting on their spouse?
I think the best advice I could give someone while they're waiting for their spouse is to not find yourself comparing yourself to other people, not comparing yourself to your friends, to your co-workers, to your family members. Just talk to God and be on his timing. The Bible talks about trusting God with all your heart and all your mind and all your soul. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And acknowledging him in all your ways and letting him direct your paths. So I think comparison is like a silent killer. Because if you begin to look at other people, and when she was 25, she was married. And when she was 26, she had her first baby. Well, I'm 30 and nothing has happened for me. And I think when you start comparing yourself, then you begin to start trying to live somebody else's life, their best life. And that's not what God may have for you on that time period. So I would say, do not compare yourself.
That's really good. I would also say to occupy until he comes.
Come on.
I would say that you want to make sure that you live out your dreams, that you don't hold up for a fantasy that you locked in your mind. You want to make sure that you pursue the things that God has laid on your heart. So occupy until he comes.
Thank you for that advice. What would you say to someone on how to not compromise their values, not compromise their integrity, to kind of speed? You know, a lot of times whenever we are waiting on our spouse, we get in a rush. And sometimes we might miss what God has for us because we're trying to kind of make them, what would you say? What advice would you give if someone came to you and said, Pastor Keisha, I've been waiting. And I've been waiting. And I'm waiting on the right spouse. I've been doing everything that God has called me to do. But I'm really trying to just get to a place where I'm trying to get the ring. What would you say to someone who's kind of speed up that's trying to speed up that process?
One thing that you do not want to do while you're waiting is get that Jezebel spirit. Jezebel was a manipulator. She was one who wanted to control the stuff. If you're trusting God, you have to trust God with everything. You have to focus your mind on Him, not the ring. I understand we want the ring. We want a nice ring. You know, we love the bling. But you need to really shift and redirect your focus. The enemy wants to play with your mind. He wants to play with your mind like you're too old. Nobody's going to want you. But you will. If you think about it, let's look at Ruth for just a second. Ruth and Naomi, y'all know the story.
Yes.
Her husband died. She was a widow. Ruth had two daughter-in-laws. One said, peace, I'm out of here. I'm going back. I'm going to find me a man. She was a Moabite. And so she said, but Ruth, I'm going to go. She said, Naomi, her mother-in-law, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to stay with you. Your God is going to be my God. So it's something that Naomi had showed Ruth about her God that made her want more of her God. So I want your God to be my God. Your people going to be my people. Where you go, I'm gonna go. So she had her mind focused on taking care, making sure her mother-in-law was okay, right? She had lost her husband too. She could have been all about me mourning, and she could have said, well, I'm gonna go back home and I'm gonna meet me another man because I know I'm proud. You know, I'm all of that. But no, she focused herself on making sure her mother-in-law was in a good place. I'm gonna go and make sure you're taken care of. And then guess what? Not only that, I'm gonna make sure you're provided for. So what did she find herself doing? Going to the field, and she started gleaning, right? She started gleaning. So when did Boaz find her? He found her working. He said, I know all the things that you've been doing, which means I knew that you've been concerned about somebody else. Sometimes, could it be if we're just concerned about somebody else? If we're just concerned about something else other than our own desires, what we want, when we want it, then maybe He'll find you working.
That's key.
Not waiting on Him, but working, waiting on God. Could it be?
Some priorities.
Yes.
That's a sign of a good wife too.
Come on.
So in that time when we're waiting, you might be saying that he's building our confidence. He's building what we need to be doing, what we need to be working on. That's something that we could focus on while we're waiting. Would you have anything that you would like to add to that?
Well, I believe if you compromise before a relationship, you're going to compromise forever in the relationship.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
If you know you have promise within you, don't compromise your promise.
Come on. Yes, absolutely.
Well, oh my God, ladies, but thank you for sharing your advice. This has been a wonderful time that I've had with you all. I'm going to ask you as we wrap up this, there's a lot of different emotions that comes with waiting and, you know, building our self-awareness and making sure that we don't grow weary, we don't grow to a place where we become depressed. So I'm going to ask that you just write something that kind of sums up any things that you would like to leave with us, Pastor Keisha, that kind of sums it up. We're going to lead. If you could just write it on the yellow table talk right here, that would be something that would be very helpful for us. We know that we're going to just have an awesome time. And so anything that you would like to leave with us? an emotion, a thought, an encouraging word. Trust God. In all our ways, trust God.
Yes.
And lean not to our own understanding, but trust His perfect will so that we're not getting ahead of ourselves.
Yes.
This has been a segment about self-awareness and loneliness. We're going to see you next time.
Nope, that ain't the one, and I'm freeing you to get out of it. You stay and you pray. God, touch his heart. God, cover him. God, keep him until he becomes what you have called him to be, not what I want him to be. Because just like you got a plan for my life, you got a plan for my husband's life.
Right.
And he might not see it yet. Guess what? Before we got so spiritual and to the place where we are now, guess what? We were just where they are. And it took us a while to get there. And just because we have arrived, we can't catapult them to get to a place more quickly. We got to love them where they are. We got to see the Christ in them even when they acting like a hellion. We got to still love them if that's what God has ordained us to be. And trust God in that process. Because you didn't get there overnight. I didn't get there overnight. And guess what? They're not going to get there overnight. But if God says that, if God says, God says, not Keisha, not Ty, not, if God says it's your husband, then you stay right there and you cover him just like he is the bishop of your house. Until he gets there. He can be drunk every day. But until God shifts and transitions him, it's not your job to transition your spouse. It's not your job to pray for him, and it is and to try to change him. I used to pray, and I learned that's a witchcraft prayer. God, make him do this. God, why won't he do that? God said, that's a witchcraft because you're trying to control and manipulate another person. God, let him be what you have called him to be. Let him love me like your word says. Like you love the church. Let him show him how to love. Because he might not know.
That's right.
He might not have a father and mother to look at.
That's right.
A lot of us don't.
That's right.
God, if he's the one, I don't want you just to bless my permissive will. I want it to be perfect in you. Right. Let your will be done in this. And help me to hold on and not get weary. Help me to hold on and not faint.
Warming around in there. Just be free. And let him do what he did.
They don't think about it, and you wonder, like, when you do try to get in a good relationship, you still have so many.
Oh my God.
And not only intimate, you've been intimate with that person, you've been intimate with everybody they've been intimate with. All that stuff is like polluting your temple, and then you wonder why you can't freely give yourself, because you still connected to somebody who was with 1999. They're still in there. And being fervent.
And you know, if you are having dreams, because God, that is one way that he communicates with us, right? And if you're seeing people from your past pop up, when you wake up and like, why is that person there? You better ask God to cut it. Because that means that they're still there. They're still in your stream. They're still in your flow. They're still in your mind, in your heart. That's how they can invade your dream world. And so ask God to wash it off in the name of Jesus, and just be free. Be